awesome is gonna happen. Dahmer's Cool Stuff. Do good gaming.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Dahmer's Cool Stuff, and I've got a Magic the Gathering deck tech for you. I am basically running a very fun deck right now. It's heavily based off Zada. The name of it is definitely temporary at the moment until I can come up with something different or somebody corrects me in the comments down below. This is what I'm calling Atarka Zada. Now, all the times I've been trying to brew Zada since I've got my playset from Battle of Zendikar came out, I've been basing it off of Zada. Like, Zada's the nucleus. Build the deck around Zada. Every time I did that, every time Zada got eliminated or countered or just taken off the board, I was borked. So, this was the idea that I had for this one. I watched a video with Strictly Better MTG, and he had a white-red version of Zada. And then I've noticed a prominence of Atarka Red in the format, in Standard. So I was like, well, why don't I just have a baby with all of those colors? So we're running white, green, and red. Yeah, I know, weird. And basically, we have Atarka Zada. We're going to go to the mana base first, and we're running 7 mountains, 2 plains, and 2 forests. That is all your basics. Everything else is a non-basic land, obviously. We're running 3 Canopy Vistas, 2 Cinder Glades, 2 Evolving Wilds. I'm running the Evolving Wilds because I don't have enough fetches yet. Once I get fetch lands, which I'm opening up Khans of Tarkir for my prize packs, there we go, just to try to get more fetches, because those things exploded in value. On the fetches, we're running 3 Bloodstained Mire, 1 Wooded Foothills, and 1 Windswept Heath. The Windswept Heath is the latest edition that I got off my prize packs from the game day that I played this deck on, where I went 3-1 and then got into the semifinals and lost in the semifinals to a Jeskai Black deck, I'm pretty sure. And he was my only loss in the 4 round robin format, I guess. 4 preliminary matches. And he just kind of knew all my tricks. Now we're going to go into the red cards. This is the main meat of the deck. I literally mean we're splashing some white, and we're really, really tiny splashing some green, only because of one card. But this one card wrecks shop when it happens. You'll see why if you're not familiar with Atarka Red. So for the red, we're running 4 Temur Battlerages. 4 Monastery Swiftspear, single greatest red card in the format, in my honest opinion. I say time and time again, I really think they made a mistake with the rarity on this one. I think they wanted to print it as a rare, and they, uncommoned it. But it's really it's a powerhouse in this deck. We have 4 Dragon Fodders, 4 Titan Strengths, 3 Zada the Hedron Grinders, 3 Lightning Berserkers, and 1 Zurgo Bellstriker. Thank you, Grady, for the advice on the Lightning Berserker Zurgo Bellstriker. Before, I was actually just running 4 Goblin Glory Chasers and 3 Goblin Power Drivers. Now, those cards are not longer part of the deck, and it's just more Lightning Berserker and a Zurgo Bellstriker. On white, we are running 4 Seeker of the Ways, 4 Defiant Strikes, and 2 Secure the Wastes. On green, simple. 4 Become Immense. That's it. That's your deck right there. Basically, Zada is your win condition, especially if you have a couple creatures out. At the game day, my first match, and I felt so bad for my opponent, I had a Seeker of the Way, a Monastery Swiftspear, 2 Dragon Tokens, and Zada on the board. He didn't get rid of the Zada. Next turn, this is the play how it happened. 1 Defiant Strike on Zada. If you're not familiar with Zada, it copies basically every spell that targets Zada, and Zada only, that's a big key thing, gets copied for each creature you have on the field. And that creature gets that copy. So I casted a Defiant Strike on Zada. 5-card draw. That's where heads turned. They're like, wait, what? I never even thought of that. So I drew into 5 cards. Then I drew a Titan Strength on Zada. So I casted a Titan Strength on Zada. So now everything's got +4, +1. The Seeker and Monastery Swiftspear, wow, that was a long pause, also had +2/+2. So now we're looking at +6, +3, +6, +3 for the Seeker and the Monastery Swiftspear. So the Seeker's swinging for 8. Then Temur Battlerage. And I had to section it off like that so I could meet the Ferocious trigger on Temur Battlerage. Temur Battlerage, target creature gets double strike. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, they get trample. So now that activates another Paralysis trigger. So now that's Seeker of the Wave swinging in for 9. Double strike. Lifelink. Trample. It really impressed, and that's when people at the LGS, where I was playing at the game day, started fearing Zada. But if Zada's not on the field, you know, you're basically running a regular old Atarka Red style, swing in, try to get a creature unblocked, and then Temur Battlerage, become immense Temur Battlerage. Simple, for the win. Sideboard is relatively simple. 3 Fiery Impulses, 2 Sheer Drops, 1 Stasis Snare, 1 Suppression Bonds, 2 Plummets. The Plummets are the latest addition to the sideboard because Mantis Rider beat my face hard. Just hard. I still can't believe the card's only $2. It's getting so much play, and it's only $2. And it's so good. It's so choice. So money. We're running 2 Feats of Resistance, 2 Valorous Stances, and 2 Roasts in the sideboard as well. Roast because Siege Rhino is still a thing. Valorous Stance because it's double duty, indestructible, or destroy creatures power 4 or greater, also known as Siege Rhino. 2 Feats of Resistance, also for that protection of any color. The Suppression Bonds, Stasis Snare, and that's kind of like and the Sheer Drops, those are removal. Fiery Impulse is also removal, but you need Spell Mastery for it to kick in really well. Because that's doing 3 power. Draconic Roar is great, but we're not running any dragons, so it doesn't make a whole lick of sense to throw it in this deck. Instead, Fiery Impulse, you're going to get the trigger anyway. That's about it. It's a very fun deck to run, very explosive, very powerful, obviously if we're running the Atarka shell. I'm not running Atarka command in this because it doesn't work with Zada. I tried to run Swell of Growths because it works a little better, I thought, but, you know, took that out because to get the true power of Swell of Growth, I need to 3-4 land in an opening hand. I will say this about the deck as well. It taught me how to play Magic again, so to speak. Basically, up until this point, all my decks were like, beat you in the face, blah, blah, blah. I have big stick, I hit you in the face. This deck, I had to learn sequencing. I had to learn the stages of a turn, the combat stages, the main phases, the everything, because sequencing with this deck is key. And the one loss I had, first 4 matches, I could have won if I sequenced them better. And my opponent, he was a great guy. I screwed up big time. But he was understandable about it. I thought I Evolving Wild a forest, and I didn't. I Evolving Wild a Plains because I was also running at the time 2 Battlefield Forges for mana fixing. I know, my bad. And I decided to draw a mountain because I didn't have a mountain and I was taking damage. And if I had drawn a forest, I would have been able to become immense Temur Battlerage for the win. He also did teach me, he's like, you want to put the Temur Battlerage on the stack first. He was like, that's my advice. If you put that on the stack first, you get to kind of have an easier go at it. Because at first I was becoming immense and then Temur Battleraging to activate the trample trigger, so to speak. It's a very fun deck to play. It's gotten very expensive because of the fetch lands. Mostly everything else isn't that bad. Basically, Swiftspears are about $4 at the moment. Zurgo's like at 4 as well. Lightning Berserker, I think, is like $1.50. Secure the Waste is a couple bucks. But literally, I'm looking at 3 Bloodstained Mires, and those are $25. A Wooded Foothills, $30. The Windswept Heath, $15. Once I get my fetches, I will take out the Evolving Wilds. Because I would, and replace it with the Wooded Foothills and Windswept Heath. I don't think I need a playset of Bloodstained Mires. It'd be nice. Also, if I get another Tango land, or Man land, or Battle land, or whatever the hell we're calling these dual land, mountain, forest, plain, forest type of cards, I will take out another mountain or 2, and, you know, have another Cinder Glade or Canopy Vista as well. As I said, it's a very fun deck to play, very sequence-based, very know your stuff before you start playing this deck, unlike me. Play tested like crazy, and took it to the FNM, and after the FNM, from the advice I had from my not FNM, from GameDay, from my local gaming store. Grady, thank you very much for your advice and on this deck. I definitely took out the Battlefield Forges, replaced it with another mountain, another plains, and another forest, and took out the 4 Goblin Glory Chasers and the 3 Goblin Power Drivers, and just put in more another Titan Strength, another Dragon Fodder, the Lightning Berserker, and the Zurgo. So there you go. This is Dahmer's Cool Stuff, and as always, do good gaming, and may your top deck always be mythic.